I am Lori Delk.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am Catherine Asaro, affectionately known as Rara Isabel.
And we are the Gratitude Girls. And while we speak to you tonight, if you have any questions, comments, you are welcome to post them right below this video in our comment section, also on our Facebook page, as well as our gratitudegirls.com page if you would like.
Lori, it is so good to see you. I'm mesmerized by your bling.
Thank you.
You look amazing. You look awesome. I'd like to let our audience know where we're from today.
And right now I'm talking to you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And Lori, where are you at?
I am in Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay, awesome. Well, we are a global, international Gratitude Girls hangout. And not too long ago, Lori and I had the pleasure of being together live. And this is part of our dream. It's that we travel the world together and we do things together. So for those of our guests who are tuning in for the first time, and you're wondering a little bit about why are we doing this? What are Lori and I doing here tonight, besides introducing you to an awesome guest, which we'll do in a few minutes. You might want to know a little bit of the background about what happened to us and how we came together. Because if you believe in the New York Minute and how life can change and how people can connect, that's really what happened to Lori and I. Lori, you know I love when you tell the story, and I will chime in after, but would you be kind enough to share with our audience how we started?
Yes, absolutely. So Catherine and I are both in a greeting card gifting company that we use to teach and train people how to follow up with their customers and keep their customers, build relationships in their life. And so with that company, Catherine and I sales, and so Catherine and I are actually cross-lined to each other in that company. And every year, our international convention, we give one person that is whatever that theme for that year is. So back in 2013, the theme for that year was gratitude. And so our CEO got up on stage and he tells all these great things about the person, and I'm busy taking pictures and taking video, and he calls Miss Catherine Asaro Myers, and she goes up on stage, she gets her award. And then for the very first time ever, the company said that they're having a tie and they were going to announce someone else. And pretty soon he ended up calling my name up to the stage. And so Catherine and I actually met on stage in 2013 in front of 1,000 people, and we just knew something that day that some reason, things don't happen for coincidence. There was a reason that we met. So literally before we even got off stage and got put in our little seats that we were scheduled to go sit together after we got our awards, Two Girls was born. And so I had the website and we had it going. So now over 5 years now, going on 6 years pretty soon, right? That yes. We've been doing Gratitude Girls. And so we feature a special guest every single month who comes to us and talks to us about different ideas and different ways that we can use gratitude in our life, personally as well as professionally, and how that can help us to grow as well.
Well, Lori, I love when you tell the story because I always relive the moment of being up on stage. I don't know if you're hearing any feedback from my voice. If you are, I know that we can, super awesome. So what happened when we met is I really felt something besides my knees knocking and the nervousness and the excitement of, oh my goodness, this is what I had dreamed of. And this is one of those moments. This is a defining moment. I am feeling exactly what I envisioned, but didn't know exactly how it would be. But I remember every second. And I remember Lori walking up, and I remember walking down the steps, and I remember touching her hand. I remember how I felt, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm on stage with Cody Bateman. Oh my goodness, there's Lori Delk. And I listened to Lori's story. And if you want to hear our story, it's on our website and you can see how we met. And it was really quite a moving moment for me for so many reasons, because meeting Lori was really an honor. And to connect with Lori at that point in her life, and for her to connect with me at that point in my life, almost 6 years ago. So I don't know if you can see these balloons behind me, but 6 years ago, I was not in the 6-0, I was in the 5-4. And the 5-4 was pretty good, and so is the 6-0, but gosh, time flies. So we knew that we were going to be doing things together, and we felt that this was one of the great things that we would do together, one of many, by having a platform and finding a way to share messages with other people. So we basically have a platform for people to come, for friends to come and share their gratitude stories. And you never know from 1 minute to the next, really, in my life, who is going to be on our show. Because although we have a list and stories, one day something happens and here's our guest. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, the spontaneity of Lori and I meeting and this dynamic force that we have, and how this force vibrates out to the guests that we have. And the guests that we have are also part of this connectivity. It's almost this instantaneous life relives itself through Lori and I's first moment with all of our guests. And tonight's guest is another example of that. So Lori and I are together on Gratitude Girls, but we're meant to be together. And it was our CEO who had the foresight to put us on stage together. And I'm certain that he felt the vibration of what would be going on. And I'm very grateful to Cody Bateman for his vision and for his company to give us the opportunity to become friends and family and Gratitude Girls. And now I'd like to take an opportunity to go globally back around to Canada, because I'm in Canada, Lori's in the States. And I'd like to just tell you a little bit about our guest tonight. Our guest is Gloria Pierre. Gloria Pierre started her company, Clearly Speaking, in 2000 after a workplace incident. I won't tell you all of her story. I don't want to take away her thunder. Through research and interviews, she discovered communication is the one skill, of course, that everyone uses regardless of their status, their education, or their experience, and that your success hinges on how well you are able to communicate. As a result, Gloria developed interactive programs to empower clients to command attention and respect by expressing themselves more clearly, more confidently, and more concisely. Gloria's signature program, I Design My Future, is being offered in Toronto. I will let her tell you where. There's an awesome retreat. I don't want to take that away from her. And Gloria has been training and coaching speakers and presenters and executives and entrepreneurs and native and non-native English speakers to communicate their ideas effectively and respectively. Gloria has coached people who presented at the White House in Washington. No comments. Spoke at Air Canada Center and are represented at the UN. Gloria has a very long list of wonderful things and accolades that I can say about her. But the thing I would like you to know is when you meet Gloria and you speak with her, you know she's someone that you want to know for a long time. Gloria and I met many years ago, 8 or 9, through a friend who introduced us, Alex McCarsky. And we made a solid connection. Although we didn't speak to each other on a regular basis, I found Gloria compelling and I followed her. And I watched her messages and I watched what she did. And I always felt connected after our first meeting, and we met once or twice after that. And we developed an affinity. So we were clearly speaking the same language through body language and through our emotional and spiritual connection. I'd like to have everybody clap their hands, put your hands together for Gloria Pierre. Welcome, Gloria, to Gratitude Girls. How are you?
Thank you, Catherine. I am doing wonderful. Thank
Gloria,
you for having me on this show. It's an honor.
Thank you. It's our pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. Can you tell our audience a little bit about like how we met and how this and how do you end up being a guest on our show?
I would put it all down to networking, the value of networking. I cannot overestimate, and you shouldn't either, your audience that is, shouldn't underestimate the power and the value of networking. Catherine and I, as she mentioned, were introduced by a mutual friend, Alex, and we met. And one of the things I think we both did on that first meeting is really truly connect and genuinely connected with each other, because as she said, we haven't really been in touch for a long time, but the connection was still there. Our relationship really didn't need constant contact to continue. And I guess not too long ago, she got one of my emails and she called me and she texted me or messaged me, and I called her back, and this is the result, me being on her show tonight. And she spoke about my book, and I didn't even remember that I had given her a signed copy of my book. And I don't remember, Catherine, I don't remember what I wrote in the book right now, but I'm sure you do. So remind me, please.
Yes, I'll get the book. You know, you wrote in the book to me, and I have moved about 9 times since we first met, like really 9 times. So the irony of everything is, you know, when you move, you put things in storage, not your book. Your book is in our study next to my, what I call the black desk, which is like the desk. And it's right there. So the other day when we were talking and we were having our Zoom call, I pulled it right out because I can always touch it. And it's the ABCs of networking. I don't want to leave the screen to get the book to read it.
Okay.
But what I do want to say is it's always been in my possession. And if you get a book from someone or someone gives you a book or you know the author of a book, and Lori, you're the author of a book, you want people to hold on to that book. You want them to remember you, not just because it's a book, but you want them to remember you. And when we were on our Zoom call the other day, Gloria spoke about Chapter W. And she talked about it being her favorite chapter. And these things stick in my mind. Oh, my mind's not here. My mind is here. Stick in my mind. And I don't forget them. And Gloria leaves such an impression on me each and every time we talk. So you talk about networking, Gloria. And this is really important because a lot of people think, well, I'm networking. I'm going out and I'm meeting 12 or 24 business people, or I'm going to a weekly meeting or a monthly meeting, or I'm getting all dressed up and I'm going somewhere and I've got a place to collect all these business cards. And, you know, I'm going to tell everyone how great their life's going to be once they get their hands on my potion or whatever it is that people are, you know, really willing to do to go out there and make their first impression. But truly, when it comes to networking, it's not about what we give in terms of what our knowledge is and push it on someone. Tell us, what is the true key to networking when we're going somewhere?
The true key to networking is, as Catherine mentioned, my favorite chapter in my book, ABCs of Networking, which is withdraw after you deposit. If I meet you at a networking event, and this is the first time I'm meeting you, the usual way people network right now is I meet you and I tell you what I want, because maybe you can help me to get that job, or you can send me more clients, or you can introduce me to somebody that I really need to know. But why would that person want to do this for me if they don't know me? So the first thing you have to do is to develop a relationship with that person. And to develop that relationship, you really have to listen to what that person is saying. You engage that person in conversation and truly listen to what they are saying. And if somebody feels comfortable with you or know that you're interested in them, they will tell you things that they may not even realize they're telling you. And if you truly listen, you will go away and eventually help that person to achieve what it is they want before you ask them to help you to achieve what you want. So for the best skill, or the most valuable skill in networking, is listening and actually listening and asking questions. So when you ask questions and you listen, like I said, you will be able to help that person to get what they want. Now, that person may not say to you, well, you know, I'm looking for a size 8 shoe for my kid, and the store in my neighborhood doesn't have it. The person probably will be talking about his son playing soccer, and, you know, he has to get him a pair of shoes. That's probably all the person will say. But if you're truly listening, and if you genuinely care about this person and you want to develop a relationship with this person, you may be flipping through your flyers, or you may have been over at the outlet, wherever, and you saw size 8 shoes on sale. You call the person and you let them know, hey, you know what? You were looking for size 8 shoes for your son? Here it is. Check this out. If that person goes and buys that shoes for his son, and it's, you know, probably what's even better, a sale price, that person will be grateful to you, because now what you have done is you have deposited into that trust account, so that when you want something from that person, you won't feel awkward going and ask that person for something, because the person now wants to reciprocate. So I think that's one of the greatest networking tips I can give. And most people think that networking is only when you're looking for a job. No, I have a job, so I don't need to network. We always need to network, because with them, you know that a job is not guaranteed for life, right? Or, you know, a client is not guaranteed for life. So you always have to be building your network and adding opportunities or prospects to your pipeline.
Gloria, that is such wonderful advice. And I love that this chapter, deposit.
Withdraw after you deposit.
Withdraw after deposit. I love that this is the chapter that's your favorite, because I read it after we got off our Zoom call the other day. I actually read that chapter to someone, believe it or not. I took your book and I read it to someone. So let me ask you this. What is one thing that you would say is an absolute don't do it? Like, don't do that when you're networking. What's the one thing that you would say is your pet peeve, that when you see somebody do it, you think, oh my gosh, read one of my 6 books?
It's not actually, this pet peeve of mine is not only for networking, it's generally, but you notice it more in a networking event because it's a contained environment. And that is when you are talking and people are not listening. Drives me nuts. Because if you want to impress somebody at a networking event, if you want to develop a relationship or start a strong relationship with someone, and they're talking and you're not listening, you are looking at maybe where the food is, or you saw somebody you know and you're looking at them, how do you think that person will feel? And if that is done to you, you will be very angry, and you will say that person is an awful person, or that person doesn't have any manners, not even realizing that you're doing the same thing. So if you're going to a networking event, actually I'll give you, so that's my pet peeve, but I need to give you a couple more tips on networking, if you don't mind, because I feel very strongly about this. If you're going to a networking event, have a reason for going. Don't go just because somebody invites you, or don't go just because there's free food, which, you know, free food always attracts people. If you're going to a networking event, research the event. What is it about? Who's going to be there? And decide whether you want to go. And if you decide to go, what is your objective for going? Are you going because you want to meet maybe the organizer? Are you going because your potential clients are part of this group? Have a reason for going. And so if you have a reason for going when you go to the networking event, as you're networking or as you're listening or as you're meeting people, it will be more purposeful. And again, when you're there, listen, ask questions and listen. You really have to listen.
That's a great point. Now, Gloria, that brings me to something else. Lori and I are organizers of networking events. Lori runs an event for years, and there are some years I run 100 events, and some years I run 50, and some years I attend 150 and run 25. But as the organizer of a networking event, as a relationship building event, whether it's 5 people or 20 people or 17 people, on this side of it, there are things that we should do and things that we shouldn't do. But I have a question as an organizer. When you truly want to have a quality event and you want to make sure that the people who come feel like, thank goodness I got off my couch or got out of my house or got out of my special car. Thank goodness I got away from the, the computer, and I went to this event because I almost didn't make it because I really rather be playing with the dog or playing with my children or grandchildren or speaking to my husband, which is what everybody really loves to do when they have a great, family and home life and supportive life. What do we do as organizers to make sure that we're going to give value?
I think the first thing you have to do is invite the right people. And if you invite the right people, they will find your event valuable. Most times, and I've been to lots of events also, and some of the events, even though they were good, I don't think they had the right invitees. So if you are, for example, organizing an event promoting the newest sewing machines, you're not going to invite potential chefs or football players, and so forth, right? And that's obvious. But you, as organizers, you really have to make sure you invite the right people who would be interested in what you have to offer, and they would find it valuable. You also have the right venue. If it's easily accessible, if there's sufficient parking, people will tend to come. If they have to worry about all those things, they will not come. And especially in Toronto, where I'm from also, there are so many events happening. You almost have to look to see what else is happening on that day. Because if there's a game going on, or if there's some other event happening, let's say in the downtown core, and your event is in the downtown core, well, people may say, no, I'm not going because it's going to be just crazy getting downtown. So these are some of the things I think that you should be looking at. Right.
Make sure there isn't a parade in front of the restaurant that we're holding, the venue we're holding. Okay, got that. Now, what about an event, for example, we're hosting an event in July on the 28th where you're going to be a keynote speaker.
Yes.
July 28th. Okay. Yes. So here we are, real live event. I would like to make sure that I have 5 or 6 key people minimum who know everything they can about you so they can talk to people about the value of listening to you. Is that a good strategy?
That's right. And this is one of the values that you're going to be providing. So for example, with my event, and given my expertise as a communication expert, communication is used by just about everyone. But if you generalize, people may not come. So if the people that you are thinking of inviting are career-oriented or entrepreneurs who have to talk to their clients, or their suppliers, or resolve customer conflicts and so forth, that's what they would be interested in. But it's also how you pitch communication.
Right. So, okay. Good point. Yes. Good point. Excellent. So we can talk about that. So as the organizer, it's the key people inviting the right people so that they are getting the value, because we do not want to host an event and not give value to people, because all of the effort that it takes to run an event, good, bad, great, or indifferent, it takes the same amount of effort. And we certainly want to make sure that these hours, this sweat equity that we're putting into hosting these events, right? Because that's really what it is, that they're going to give people what they want and more.
That's right. And if you invite the wrong people and they don't find value, your reputation is damaged, because they're going to tell somebody who's going to tell somebody else.
Right. Absolutely.
And even if the next event that you put on is better, people are still going to be leery and reluctant to come out.
Right. Better to have 1 or 10 people less than to have people in seats that aren't the right ones for that event.
That's right.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Now, another question. You have a workshop, you have a program. Can you tell me a little bit about, so I can pick up your book, I can hold your book, I can read them, I can, get on your website, which I was doing it tonight, and I was going to send you a message on your website. I wanted to impress you. And then what about your workshop? Tell us a little bit about, what do you do in terms of communication? Like, what is that workshop about?
Okay. So I offer workshops on many topics of communication: listening, body language, how to say no without feeling guilty, how to organize your thoughts, how to use better words, the sound of your voice, problem solving, decision making, and so forth. All of that, but all of that has come together in my signature program, I Design My Future. And because communication, as you mentioned, communication is something that we all use all the time in all of our interactions. However we feel about ourselves is reflected when we start talking. So if we are not so very confident about something, it will show in our body language, in the sound of our voice, and the way we express ourselves. So I Design My Future. It was designed based on the premise that we all have emotional baggage, which affects us, which prevents us from being who we want to be. And somewhere along the way, we realize that we know we can be more than we are, and we become very discontented with what we are doing and want more for ourselves. So I Design My Future was built in 5 phases. The first phase, which is being offered now, is it's called Mining the Diamond. So really confronting who you are, what your flaws are, what your strengths are, and being okay with that. That's the first step. And for this particular phase, actually in all the phases, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. Because in the workshop, I don't want you to tell me, yes, this is how it is, just to impress me. Because guess what? If you are not honest with yourself, nothing will change. You have to truly confront these demons or these flaws to become better. And I'm offering the workshop in Toronto every month, in September in Wyerton, and in November in Costa Rica. And I'm really excited about that. And the way it's looking, we'll probably be doing 2 weeks in Costa Rica. So two classes in Costa Rica in November. So I hope I will see all of you there.
Well, Lori and I are really loving the idea of traveling the world as Gratitude Girls partners. So I guess we should talk about that. We don't need much of an excuse, both of us, to pack our bag and go somewhere. And we're always looking at the next trip. So thank you for that. Pardon me. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I have so many more questions, but I want to give Lori an opportunity to ask you a question if she has a question for you before I totally monopolize you and I'm going to turn the show over to you also for a few minutes. So Lori, do you have any questions for Gloria?
Yeah, definitely. So, and yeah, I don't think we have anything on our calendar for November yet. So I think Gratitude in Costa Rica sounds perfect.
Awesome.
So Gloria, tell me. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Tell me some ways how you also, when you're teaching and training your clients, how you show them to pull gratitude into their life. And then tell me maybe 1 or 2 little stories about how you've seen gratitude play in your life personally or in your life professionally, in a way that it helped you to move forward also in life.
Okay. When you're grateful, and when you're truly grateful, you start to become authentic. And that is part of my program, I Design My Future, because to be brutally honest with yourself, you have to be authentic. And if you are authentic and you are naturally grateful for everything that happens, every so often you say, thank you, Lord, or thank you for this. And you're grateful for the people who are doing things for you that if you don't say thank you, you don't even realize they're doing things for you. And it could be small things. Today, I'm especially grateful for my family because I just came back from a funeral. An aunt of mine passed, and her kids are the same as me and my siblings and my family. My mom passed away 5 years ago, and now their mom has passed. And we have so many similarities. And leaving the funeral today, I was very honored and grateful for my siblings and their families, because it doesn't matter what you have. You can have all the money in the world. You can go here and there and buy the most expensive things. But if you don't have the security and the support and the love of family, everything is meaningless. Everything is meaningless. And so I'm very grateful for that today. I'm also very grateful for being on this show tonight, because I could have very well said, Catherine, and you know what, I can't do this tonight because it's too emotional and so forth. But this is an opportunity and I am grateful for it. So here I am. And I think most of my clients, this is what I'm teaching them also, because also when you are not grateful or when you're not satisfied or when you're not happy, it is reflected in everything that you do, especially in your attitude, and which comes back to communication, because how you communicate is how you're perceived, and how you're perceived is how you're treated. And if you don't like the way you're being treated, look at the way you're communicating, which comes back to how you feel about yourself. So I hope that answers your question. Yes.
That's an awesome answer. That's a fantastic answer. I am so excited that you're here. I am sorry that you're having such an emotional day, but the fact that you are here with us, and if there's anything that we can do for you today, because of the passing of your aunt and the emotionality that you're feeling, I would hope that you would let Lori and I know. You maybe don't have to let us know on live on air, but we appreciate you being here. We're grateful that you are, and we would understand any circumstances. But the fact that you are sitting and standing right here in front of us and our audience speaks volumes, Gloria, for the way that you communicate and your word and your devotion and your commitment. And so I do hope that the time that you're on the show here tonight, that it elevates the vibration, and it's something that you can carry back into the family that you have waiting for you, I'm sure, once the show is done tonight, and that you'll remember this day with something that you did for others.
I do, and I really appreciate it. And honestly, if I do need anything, trust me, I will ask.
Okay, and in honor of your auntie, we give you our deepest condolences, and we are truly, truly here. And the Gratitude Girls would like to let you know that we are both here for you. And you're welcome. I would like to give you the show. I'd like to pass the baton. I'd like to drop the mic and give the mic to you, Gloria, because I really believe it's important to do a full 360 with our show. I think it's really important that you can take the opportunity to ask us a question, unrehearsed. We have no idea what this is. We do this every month. It's Lori's favorite part. Lori loves the impromptu part of life. But this is what we do. This is what we bring to each other. So, and I say that not to prevent you from asking a question, but because Lori just loves when I do these things with her, and I do them so regularly that she probably expects it now. So I'd like to give the show over to you and give you the floor. Ask us any question you want. Let us know who the question is for and who you'd like to go first, please.
Okay. So, Catherine, what are you grateful for today, right this moment?
Thank you. Thank you, Gloria. I was thinking about this earlier today, and I was thinking of the word support and supportive. And it was like running through my head how I talk to many, many people throughout the course of a day. And today I was talking to myself, and I was thinking, what is support? Is support, and I'll tell you exactly when I was thinking about this. I was making my bed, and I was doing my military corners as I normally would. And I was thinking, what is support? Is it someone who says, they're there now, I support you? Or is it someone who supports your actions before you take them? I'm grateful for the support I have from my family, for their steadfast holding of sacred space for me to do as I believe fit, without question. It doesn't mean we don't have a conversation. I'm grateful for the conversation. I'm grateful for the intellectual banter sometimes, if it's banter, whatever it turns out being. But the support I have from my family. And if I were to name my husband and my daughter specifically, I would be leaving out my son-in-law and my grandchildren. And I truly would like to specifically say my husband, my daughter, my son-in-law, my 4 grandchildren. the support I have from them, regardless of what I'm going to do. It could be something like, I'm going to take a phone call to, I have to take that trip. And it's not just they're there now. Okay, that's good. When do you want dinner? It is a commitment that allows me to go with ease, a peace of mind that I do not have to think or wonder or worry what I have to do to get there or what will I come home to because I made that decision. So I'm grateful for the support of my family. I hope I answered your question.
You have. Thank you. And Lori, Catherine mentioned that you build websites, and so you have clients who are able to articulate their wants in a technical or non-technical way. And the reason I'm asking this is because my son is technical and I'm not. And sometimes I ask him things and he gets really frustrated with me because I really can't articulate technical stuff. Do you get a lot of that from your clients?
I do, yes. And I actually, and my mother was that way. So we lost my mom 2.5 years ago. But the same thing I learned with my mom, because one day she explained to me that, you know, when I'm teaching her something technical that I get is like 2 + 2 = 4. She reminded me of how she taught me when I was younger,
okay,
in that lovingly way. And so just kind of gently letting me know that I needed to teach her in that same kind, lovingly way of that I expect that she gets that 2 + 2 = 4, the same way that I get it.
yeah.
But it was good because that's, you know, and that's the way that a mom can, you know, guide you in that. And but it was good for me too, because yes, I have a lot of clients that are technically challenged, and you know, I'm not. I have six computers in home and all different kinds of devices, and I could build a computer from the ground up and do anything with it, from the computer or anything on the internet that I can run. I can figure out if there's a problem, and I can fix. And so most of my clients, I run entire internet managed portals for them. Some of the top highest codes in the country that I run everything for them, include their website, their payment portals, their keeping, their customer service, their emails, their back office products that they sell as give to people, and all that, and then the staff that goes below. So so I one person underneath the person that owns the company, and then their staff is under, because I run basically even their customer support goes through the internet systems, you know. So I've had to learn how to talk and articulate to all different ranges of people, and anywhere from you know millennial to people that are in their 70s and 80s. I talked to a lady the other day that I was helping with, was 92 too. But like, I'm going to figure this out, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get on Facebook with the kids. but yeah, absolutely.
Okay. As an entrepreneur, what's one of your biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges you asked it earlier was to be able to say no. So
I'm sorry, to be able to say
no when I had too many clients and people asking me to do things, and I want to help everybody, and I want to help them succeed so they can be at the level of success that they want to be at, and I just feel guilty when I have to tell somebody I just don't have time to on my schedule, you know, and but I have to have that time for me too. And I've really struggled with that the last several years, especially of just kind of, you know, working 100 hours a week and not worrying about anything else. So.
Yeah. Thank you. Catherine, the same question for you. What's your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur?
Things not going as completely as I'd like them to. I'm a bit completely, like I'm really thorough. I'm extremely.
I know.
How do you know that?
I'm sorry?
How do you know that?
When we were getting set up for the Google today.
Oh. Okay, yes, perfect. Okay, great, exactly. So you know, I'm extremely thorough, and being thorough is not a burden to me. Being thorough is not a big deal. Being thorough is like brushing my teeth. And I find that being, as an entrepreneur, being thorough sometimes is not always serving me because it is my language. It's not everyone else's language. So I need to find the different nuances on how to be thorough by putting people at ease with it.
Okay.
So hopefully I did that with you tonight. That would be a real life example. You
did. And I think one of your strengths in being thorough and putting people at ease is explaining in their terms so that they can understand what they need to do. Because as I mentioned, I am very technically challenged and you were patient with me. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I believe that I can channel and transfer and interpret people's minds with words, and then I can bring them back. So the challenge for me is being thorough and then being able to be the translator and having the person I'm communicating with, allowing that to happen without feeling bad that maybe I should be doing something else, because I'm doing what I'm doing because I love to do it. And it truly helps me with my background in psychology, truly helps me to understand human behavior. And I have a company called The Bridge, which we'll take the word coaching out of the equation and we'll call it bridging. So with what I do with a select group of people, 6 a year, is I really study the behavior and I bridge the communication. So it's truly something that I enjoy. So the challenge or the obstacle or the carrot or the cherry, it's the same thing. It's the plus and the minus. It's the fact that I'm thorough and how other people interpret that.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a great question, Gloria. We could certainly go on.
Yes.
Question after question. I know that you and I will have a chance to do that. I don't like looking at the clock. I say this every show. I don't like to look at the clock, but I do know that it's a good idea to always keep the show and keep people wanting more, right, Gloria? And I know that I'm going to have a chance to work with you in July, and I'm going to have a chance to have a real live opportunity to have people get to know you, and we'll actually work through that together so that the people that do attend will be waiting, you know, with bated breath to hear what you have to say, as I am. And I love that you were on the show tonight, and I want to give you as much as I possibly can in the sense of gratitude and warmth and love over, you know, over a device, because we're not really with each other, but it is the next best thing these days, and say that, you know, my heart goes to you, and we're so happy that you are here with us and sharing this day with us. And we look forward to seeing you. Is there anything you'd like to tell our audience before we close for tonight? Is there anything that came up during the course of the show that you'd like to say, or something you'd like to say to someone?
Yes, what I would like to say is concerning the July event. I do hope that everybody who's on the show and everybody who received your invitation will attend, because I will be talking about communication. And one of the things that I would like to do it differently is, if you have any communication questions or challenges, email me before. And depending on how much time I have, how much time Catherine is giving me, I will choose X number of those challenges and address them.
That's awesome. Well, the event is from...
I will be talking about what they want to hear, not what I want to present to them.
Okay, the event is from 12 to 4, so we will schedule that so that you have perhaps 2 spots during that time, not just one, because maybe you can answer some questions and then mingle with those people, and then answer some other questions that are live on the spot with them. Would that be a good idea?
That would be a good idea, and they can either email me or email you if you decide, and let them know.
Sure.
And it would... I love that. oh, I get all energized.
Okay, good. Good. We're going to do that. We're going to have an awesome event July 28th at Sherwood Farms.
Yes.
Sherwood Farm in Kansas
Okay.
City. I want to make sure I said this right because my friend Teresa, I want to make sure I say sure, and I believe it's Sherwood Farm Retreat. So just give me a moment because
Sure.
I definitely do not want to mispronounce an S where an S does not belong. So it's Teresa Sherwood is the owner of this beautiful property. And I hadn't thought about actually saying this, but it's fantastic that I am. Sherwood Farm Retreat.ca. That's where we will be on July 28th from 12 to 4 in King City.
That's right. And it's a Saturday. So Catherine has decided on a Saturday. So there could be, it would be more convenient for everyone. And I do, excuse me, I do invite everyone who's on the show to check out my website at clearlyspeaking.ca. And I hope to see all of you in July 25th.
Yeah, 28th.
Sorry, 28th.
Yes. And can you tell us, Gloria, for the people that are listening, how else can they communicate with you? Can you give us a phone number, an email?
Yes. My email address is info, I-N-F-O, at clearlyspeaking.ca. And my phone number is 416-756-4926. And if you can join us in November in Costa Rica for I Design My Future, it is also being offered as a weekend retreat in Wiarton, Ontario in September. And it's offered in the evenings in Toronto. So check out my website for the latest dates. It's offered almost every month in Toronto. And I do hope you will check that out. And I hope to meet all of you soon.
Oh, wonderful, Gloria. Lori and I will have that. Lori will post all of your social media information so that you can be contacted. And if we get any direct requests on our website, you can check gratitudegirls.com and see if there are any requests there. And we'll stay in close touch to see how we could make sure that everyone gets their questions answered by you. It's been awesome having you on tonight. It's been really, really wonderful. And I thank you so much for your time. And Gloria, just hang in a few minutes once we close the show so Lori and I can thank you off air. So I want to thank our guests for tuning in. If you're watching us on a replay, thank you for taking the time to watch us tonight. Clearly Speaking, our guest is Gloria Pierre, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Lori, would you like to close the show for us?
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for being on the show with us. Thank you, Gloria, for sharing with us and giving us all your great information. We always looking for gratitude stories. If you are interested in being what our special guests on our Gratitude Girls show, please go to our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/gratitudegirls. Send us there with your story. Catherine and I will both get the message. We will review it. We'll get back with you when our next available time slot is feature you on our show. See us back here every single month, same time, same place. The fourth Tuesday night of every single month, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, and 6:30 Pacific. We will see you all soon next time. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.